Hello and welcome to Big DJ DTV. Today I am going to present to you that drama film called Eton. Spoiler ahead, take care and good viewing. The film begins in 1904 in Switzerland, or a few men forcibly transport a woman somewhere. The woman's name is Sabina and she suffers from a mental disorder called hysterical, a disease where the patient loses control of her emotions. Sabina is taken to the hospital psychiatric to be treated there. One young Swiss doctor, Carl Jung, will be in charge to treat her. Said they'll just talk for a while, hour or two most days, for the treatment. He believes in the concept word associations to determine the condition of his patients. Jung is sitting behind Sabina so that she don't feel intimidated. He asks her what, which triggers his crisis, and Sabina responds, all kinds of humiliation. Humiliations made him sweat. When she was a child, her father had her hit and then forced him to with his wife pregnant with me, and he reads the papers that say that he learns that Sabina is well educated and what aspires to become a doctor. One day Jung explains to him that this treatment method, the towing cure, has been proposed by Dr. Freud, but he still hasn't established the big lines of psychoanalysis. Jung could so be the first person to experience it. Later Jung walks with Sabina and tries to know more about her condition, but Sabina herself gets angry and throws his coat. When he picks it up, he hits it with his stick. What triggers the trouble of Sabina? She rips off his coat and asks to return to the asylum. After some time, Jung visits him and tells him he talked to the manager general of his interest in medicine. Now Sabina can help her occasionally in his research. Then Jung realizes an association of words on him. That's why Sabine was going to certain words and Emma has to say it. First word that comes to mind. After hearing them after the procedure, Sabina concludes that his wife think a lot about her pregnancy, which is obvious, but she is also worried about the makes Jung lose interest in her. Jung is impressed by the analysis of Sabina after a while, and Madonna birth to a baby girl and apologizes from Jung for not having given that boy. The latter asks him to stop to be ridiculous because it is also happy with the girl during the session. Next, with Sabina, he dives more deep in his memories. Sabina reveals that when she was 4 years she broke a plate, then her father spanked her naked, but in fact she liked it and it turned her on. Since then all kinds of humiliation likes it, and that's why she ripped off his coat when Jungle struck. That's why she thinks she should ever get out of asylum. 2 years later, Jung and Emma come to meet the doctor, Sigmund Freud. Freud asks, how are you, Sabina? And Jung responds that she will much better now they have it enrolled in a medical school and she is doing very well. Both men then spend hours talking about psychoanalysis and how dreams affect people's minds. They spent 13 hours discussing their ideas and their theory, and Jung returns to Switzerland. He meets Sabina and tells him that Freud is not exactly what he imagined. He is obsessed with representing each symptom in sexual terms, and its disciples are not at all impressive, believe that there are other reasons than the sex, and he wants to follow his own ideas. A little later, Sabina asks if she can be a good psychiatrist, and Jung answers in the affirmative. He did not hear only good things about his report university, and she is exactly the kind of person they need. Now Freud is writing a letter to Jung and asks him to take care of one brilliant but erratic analyst, Otto Kross, and he must keep Otto with him until October. Jung learns Cotia was abused by his father and that he is a big supporter of the polygamy, while Jung commits only wife Emma and finds monogamy more autologic, and it is even to convince Jung having sex with his patients. But Jung is inflexible and finds it weird. Afterwards, sometime he meets again Sabina, who expresses her idea of the sexuality. She says she studied a lot of sexual topics to the university, and what is it now, more aware of the fact that she has no sexual experience. Then she suddenly kisses Jung and asks him to come to his building if he wants to take the initiative. Jung then speaks to Otto, who asks him to go to Sabina's building and to give her the simple pleasure or that she desire. Jung is still not sure that it's the right thing to do, but to some powerful tips for the convince. After that, at the rate becomes physically with an asylum worker and then escapes from the place. In using the ladder, Jung visits her room and finds his work on the polygamy and the pleasures it takes away. Convince and will meet Sabina. They become immediately intimate, and this indulge in intimate daytime activities. Next, Emma offering a bow to Red Veil that he always desired. This simple gesture of love puts him in front of one dilemma: should he continue his affair or no? But Sabina convinces him to continue his affair and asks him to be fierce with her and to punish her, as his father used to do. Meanwhile Emma gives birth to a baby boy, and Young is nice to see it, but soon enough it ends by having intimacy with Sabina in the boat. Time passes and June goes meeting Fred. The latter tells him that he should never have sent her auto, but Eam replies that he helped him crystallize a large part of its thought after the departure of Cell. Freud wants to adopt him as Emily. Young Nen is not sure. He expresses his desire to study telepathy and parapsychology, but Freud wants him to focus on Young's sexual theory, openly say that he does not agree with him, and suddenly a wood creaks. Young said he knew something like it was going to happen because he felt that sensation in his diaphragm. Think it's ridiculous, but Young predicts that it will happen again, and it does. Produces the wood cracks. Freud thinks always it's a coincidence, that which confirms Young's suspicions about his close-mindedness. Then we see Young spank Sabina, and apparently Lexic. Their liaison is still in progress. One day Jung and Men Freud take a boat ride. Freud reveals that there is a rumor, which short in Vienna rumor has it, that Young is made of one of his patients' mistress. He